Okay, well, here we are. This is the final day for Dragalia Lost. And many other people are streaming this right now. I know I'm not the only one, and, you know, I guess it's you know, I mean, and also not sure how many more people are actually interested in this game right now at this very moment. But nonetheless, the game is going to end in a couple of hours. And so we're actually going to try and, well, make the most of this moment before it's too late. So I'm not sure what the other streamers are doing, but in these next 2 hours, I actually wanted to take a look at the game for the state that it's currently in, and actually review it. Look at the good bits, the bad bits about the game, what makes it right now such a memorable game, and will it be memorable further down the future? So I'm going to go through some of the pros and cons of this game in terms of the state of where it is right now. We can also talk about how it's changed over time and things like that. But I also wanted to do this right now as the game ends, because it allows us to compare this game and the way it kind of ended with, I suppose, future titles that come out. Will there be better gacha mobile games that come out in the future, or, you know, or frankly, was this actually the best game that we are ever gonna get? Now, I'm hoping we get many better games than Dragalia Lost, but it in itself, in its own right, has a lot of good qualities, which I'm really hoping that future mobile games will have. It's such a shame to see... Okay, that was awkward. So my screen does turn off. Interesting. Okay, let's try not let that interrupt me again. But it'd be such a shame to see future gacha games not utilize some of the features that Dragalia Lost had. There are a lot of good things, I think, that most other mobile gacha games should have. And so it's worth pointing them out, because I want to see if future games do incorporate some of these aspects. Or do they kind of go, you know what, we're here to make a quick buck, so we don't really care about user-friendly features, making the game compelling, making the game pretty interesting, that kind of stuff. Like, okay, if that's where it's at. But, you know, for what we have right now in this game, this was good. This was good. And it's worth looking at what those features were, so that in the future, we know whether or not there will be a better game than this. Or, secretly, if, you know, we do get some kind of sequel to this title, that would be great. I would love to see a sequel to this in some form or shape. Even if it's not a mobile gacha game, even if they do the Little Noah treatment on this and whatnot, that'd be good. But we're going to get to that soon. But let's start going through the pros and cons, and then let's see how we do with time. We've got 2 hours, well, 1 hour and 52 minutes now, until the game ends. Game will end when this clock says 5 o'clock. And so, yeah, let's go through some of the features and stuff, and let's see what we get to. Right, okay, so I tried to make this a little bit better. Sorry, I tried to make this a little bit more of a scripted presentation. So bear with me, because I don't normally do this kind of stuff. What am I doing here? So firstly, hang on, I have a little thing to show. Alright, cool. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is the music, because frankly, I think that is the first good aspect of the game, that it hooks any player in. If we go back to the title screen, this is what you're greeted with when you first boot up the app for the very first time. And for any new player that's speculating whether or not this game is worth playing or not, you know, first impressions are a big deal. Now, obviously, the title screen wasn't like this, I think, when the game first launched. Although this is a really nice title screen, and it'd be nice for any new player to see this now. But anyway, you are met with, what is this song? Owaranai Sakaide, An Endless World by Dialcore, and that happens to be the theme song for this game. It's not as memorable of a track, but, you know, unlike most other gacha games, oh, okay, some of them do have like a feature song with a feature artist, and it's got melody and lyrics and stuff like that. Some other games just have some kind of BGM playing in the title screen. But you get this, and you have to kind of listen to this song as the game downloads data and whatnot. It's an okay song, but, you know, it does kind of give you the, okay, it's not just a BGM, it's a good song. But it's more when you get past this, and then you start hearing the home screen music that you're like, okay, I'm vibing with this game. This is good. Like Bokura no Network, which is the song playing here. That was the song that got me hooked into this game, just because this melody was so, it was just so catchy. Again, by the same artist, Daoko. Very, very catchy song. I don't think I've ever played a gacha game where the menu song is like this catchy. You've got the characters literally bopping their heads to the music, and as the screen transitions, you kind of see Yuden or whoever your main character is just kind of bopping, or all the characters are kind of bopping along to the music, and it's just so cute, and like it's a lot more. What's the word? Like it really draws you in, I would say. So music, I think, is a very big aspect of this game, and these are not the only two big tracks in the game. Daoko then records a whole album, which then gets used for a lot of the content towards the start of the game, and Cygames kind of put that into different kind of story modes, boss modes, and things like that. They then went further, and for new events, and as the game matured and progressed, they recorded more and more music for this game, such that there should be enough for several albums, although I don't think they're released at all. But for every new event, I remember they were advertising like there'd be this new artist they bring on board, and they're recording a new song, and the song's got lyrics, and lyrics are meant to match the event, and things like that. Like, Cygames really put a lot of effort into the music, such that they even changed up the artists. They got different artists for different events, and they recorded different theme songs. They turned them into instrumentals and things like that. Let's actually take another look at some of this. Let's not worry about the BGM here, but one of the tracks that I guess, I mean, it's not in the event compendium, but one of the tracks that I guess I enjoyed was hang on, let me refer to my notes. Where am I going now? I'm going to the Mosoyari Raid. Which was that one? Fractured Future? No, it's not Fractured Futures. Oh, no, this one, duh. Are you kidding me? Oh, no, don't do that. Okay. Let's talk about this in a bit. And actually, I forgot to add a slide for that, but that's okay. We can talk about it without a slide, because that's just the way things are. Or I can edit it quickly before we move on. Okay, yeah, let's, well, this is stupid. I should have just pressed the exclude voices, because clearly we don't need any more voices. Oh, why is that so slow? Anyway, while we're doing that, maybe I will go and quickly... Oh, that's awkward. Well, not awkward, but like, that was not part of the plan. But that does remind me of something negative that I will want to address later on. Actually, and this is a good time for me to point out the disclaimer that as I talk about the good and bad aspects of the game, not every single aspect of the game that I say is good doesn't have its downsides, and every single negative aspect I point out, I think also has its good, positive sides to it as well. So, yeah, I think that, okay, let's not go there. Yeah, I think as I talk about pros and cons, everything that's good about the game also has its downsides. It's not perfect, and everything that's bad about the game has its equivalent good sides as well. It's not all positives and not all negatives. Like, it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. Okay, we're gonna come to this new point later, but no spoilers ahead. Anyway, we've got and again, quite a bit of an interesting kind of BGM for this event, which I thought was pretty good. It's more the theme song that then plays in the boss fight that's very, very memorable. I'm sure all players that have played this game are, oh my gosh, see, this is why I should have rehearsed this better. What am I doing? Okay. Yes, clearly, yeah, PowerPoint failures. Anyway, bear with me. See, listen to that. Does that not make you want to play the event? That actually sounds good, doesn't it? Nice guitar and everything. Oh, we've got dailies to collect. We'll do that later. All right, let's pop into a quest, and then again, we'll hear more of the music. But then it's going to lead me to some of my other points. Okay. I'm going to also pick a particular team, which I'll also talk through. This is all part of the plan. Actually, I might need to I actually have to use my hands for this bit. Okay. See, isn't that a good backing track? I think that's good. And then of course they kind of write lyrics over this as well, so we're gonna get to hear that as we head into the fight. Oh, actually, wait. Only when we get to the second part of the fight. Well, I wonder if we do get into the second part of the fight. Anyway, that's okay. But actually, we'll still get some nice BGM as we talk about the next point. So there's music there. The next thing I want to talk about is the unique controls and the battle system for this game. I think... Okay, let's not die here, although it doesn't matter. I think this game is very unique in that I can't think of another game that has a very similar playstyle to this. And as we've kind of talked about, what are some alternative games to this now that this is shutting down? There aren't that many, I think, that we could compare and say, oh yeah, this is like Dragalia. It was very unique. Firstly, the controls are all very touchscreen based, which, I mean, that is going to be the case for all mobile games. But the point of me saying that is that, firstly, controlling your character via the touchscreen like this, you see that there's no like little like joystick thing. Like, you know how when you hold the phone sideways and you've got those games where you've got an attack button here and stuff like that, and the controls are on the left hand side where it is, and you're basically holding onto your phone like a controller. And it's like a lot of games do that, and you know, it doesn't really utilize the touchscreen. Like, you've basically turned the touchscreen into a pseudo kind of controller. But this game doesn't do that. This game is strictly anywhere on the screen that you touch, you can use it to kind of control your character. So you've got... Okay, well, yeah. So you've got, obviously, moving around, you know, and centered around wherever you first touch the screen. That's kind of cool. So you've got moving around, which is kind of straightforward. You've then got attacking, which is just tapping. Tap anyone on the screen to attack, which is, again, straightforward. Characters do have a 5-hit combo. Everyone does, which is nice. So it does mean there's actually a combo system, and the combo system does actually factor into, like, it gets a little bit technical, like how much skill gain you have, how much damage each of your 5-hit combo does, like this, and things like that. And then one of the things that's very unique about this game that I don't really see other games doing is using the kind of holding down on the screen kind of aspect. So you've got your touching the screen, you know, clicks, and oh yeah, well, there's swipes as well. We'll talk about that in a bit. But you can also actually, let's talk about that first. All right, this is not scripted, obviously. But swiping the screen causes a dodge, and that's nice. I mean, there's not much you can really do with a touch screen, right? You can really touch the screen, you can swipe it, and so using that for a dodge mechanic is good. And then you've got being able to hold down on the screen to do a charged attack. The charged attack is very interesting and different to other games, though. Instead of aiming at the direction you want, it has a slingshot kind of effect. So if I want to make Yuden attack down, I have to drag my finger up like this, you see. So it's not like, oh, I drag it to where I want it to go. You actually have to drag it like a slingshot. And I think that definitely confused a lot of players initially. It was very different. It was very strange. And I think a lot of players needed time to get used to it. But the slingshot mechanic did kind of open up a few more possibilities to controlling. Do we have this for, let's see, Hildegard? No, I don't. Okay. Some characters, I don't think I have any other character. You can actually, depending on how far forward or back you drag, you can control the range of some of that slingshotting action for some characters. So that was interesting for them to utilize that in the controls. Like, I don't think any mobile game utilizes that kind of control mechanic. It does rely a lot more on, I need to actually control my, like, you need to have muscle memory with how you actually control your character on the screen than just simply tapping buttons, moving a joystick around. You know, you actually have to, be precise with your touches, which is interesting. Of course, you do see there are skills on the bottom, and so, yeah, I mean, it still uses the press this button, use this skill, that kind of stuff. Like, most games have that. That's okay. That's nothing new. But controlling the character just like this, I think this is unique. What next I want to talk about is the battle system. Hang on, when am I going to talk about? Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. The battle system. So clearly, real-time combat. I mean, a lot of games are real-time combat. The interesting thing about this is that this functions more like boss raids that you might find in an MMO. So you'll see that the boss right now here is using all these attacks, and they're all telegraphed. There's red circles on the ground. There are some purple lines and stuff here and there. And so the point is not just bashing your way through and just brute forcing the boss, but you're actually meant to look at the boss's attack patterns like that and avoid it. So you can see that every single time the boss uses an attack, there is a way to dodge it. You can, you know, take a step back. Or the big thing that's in this game is the fact that you have invulnerability frames, which I don't know how many games have this kind of aspect, but it does feel like it's a very Japanese sort of thing. You'll see that, okay, so purple's attacks are different. Purple attacks you can't dodge, but with red attacks, you can actually use a skill or roll through it. So for example, I'm going to roll through. You'll see I'm not going to get hit by that. And yeah, there's like invulnerability frames from the roll mechanic, which I don't think many games have that. Like, you're either going to get hit or you're just going to get hit. So you see again, I dodged the attack just by rolling through. And you'll see there's also a way to do that just by, oh well, let's see if he uses an attack where I can actually iframe with a skill in a bit. So for example, I'm going to run in here and I'm going to use this skill as the attack lands. And again, I've just dodged the damage by using an offensive skill. I don't think many games have that kind of aspect where you're expected to save your skills and then use them at a moment where it'll allow you to be invulnerable as an attack hits. I think that's very interesting and again unique about the game. You also notice the boss is kind of using the same set of moves, and so the game is about memorizing the boss's attack patterns and then adjusting according to that. You can see the boss is just cycling through a whole bunch of different moves. And so different boss fights have different mechanics whereby you're meant to know how to respond to each of the mechanics as they pop up. And so these are scripted fights. They're not like, again, it's not just hack and slash fight your way through. Oh, I need to actually pay attention here. It's not just hack and slash fight your way through. You actually have to pay attention to what the boss is doing and respond accordingly in real time. So I thought that's kind of cool. I wonder if we're going to die here because I don't actually have much offensive capability here. Actually, we should be fine just because this is a fixed stats fight. So no way I'm going to lose this bit here. Okay, that's good. Anyway, we're going to get into the second phase of the fight. And then the BGM is going to change. And again, you'll see why music is such a good thing in this game. Luckily, there's no time in this fight, so I can talk as much as I want. And things will be fine so long as the AI doesn't actually kill the boss. So yeah, I think that's what I wanted to cover when it comes to the battle system. You're going to see more of this kind of stuff with different boss fights as I kind of showcase that for the rest of this commentary. Let's talk about the next thing now, which is character variety and customization. We'll exit the fight and look at customization in a bit. Also, as you appreciate the music that's playing in the background. But every character, there's like 239 adventurers or more, and dragons and all of that stuff. There's a lot of different characters, and they all function differently. There might be some characters that kind of copy and pastes of one another, not so much, but most characters function differently. So for example, it's not apparent from what you can see on this screen here, but 3 of the characters in my team right now all are of the dagger class. They all wield daggers. Oh crap, I can't dodge this. Ooh, okay, apparently that I can dodge that, okay. But every character I've got here is, I've got 3 dagger class characters and 1 healer. So even the dagger characters all function a little bit differently. So for example, here's Yuden, and when he attacks, dagger classes generally, if I get an opportunity, oh crap, oh dear. Dagger characters will close in on their targets, and as I keep attacking, they will follow the boss. So as I attack, Yuden's going to move forward, and he's just going to keep following the boss as he attacks. There's that. But if I switch to Not's a bit different. Not is going to, as a dagger character, she's going to close in with the first. Oh, she's going to close in with the. Oh, I should have picked a more friendlier fight. This is like too much stuff I'm having on the screen, which again we'll talk about in a bit. But Not will close in, but as she attacks, she no longer moves anymore. So you can see that as I keep mashing the button, she's not going to move. She's not going to move. So again, so if the boss moves away, she's not going to follow. Let's see if that actually happens. Okay, well. Okay, so for example. Okay, well, yeah. So you see that she pops in, but then as she attacks, you see she's not moving. Whereas Yuden does. Yuden does keep moving, as you can see. There, that's a little bit more clearer, right? Where I'm clearly still moving as I attack, but Not doesn't. And finally, you've got a character like Laxi. Again, another dagger character, except this dagger character is ranged, You're like, what the heck? Why is there a ranged dagger character? And yeah, that's the point. Every character is unique. Every character has a slightly different kind of attack pattern, different skills, different mechanics, different kinds of like play styles. So for example, Maxi here is basically about doing ranged attacks. So instead of being up close and melee, she kind of functions better at range and that. And in fact, there are two different kinds of range combat for her. So I can attack slowly, or I can attack quickly, and no, get out of the way, get out of the way. Ooh. I can attack quickly, and you will see that at some point in the combo, I fly in towards the boss, and I do that. And notice there are only like red kind of explosive effects as I attack. Actually, you can see that more clearly here. But if I were to time my attacks, tap them more slowly, oh dear, like this, you see now I'm launching green attacks instead. So if I time the attacks a little bit slower, I'm actually doing more damage, and the attack kind of pattern changes. See, now there's a green effect. Whereas if I'm just mashing the button, it's just red effects and it does less damage, and she kind of closes in and gets out of range, and she goes into melee, which is not preferred. So even though I had 3 dagger characters, they all play differently. Their attack patterns are all different. They all function very differently, and I thought that's kind of cool. Every character is unique. Not all characters play the same, and I think it therefore creates a lot more variety, which is good. Now we're not gonna finish the rest of this fight. We can do that later, but we are gonna then talk a bit more about customization. Okay, so characterization is more than just, well, as you would expect, each character has a particular like equipment that you can set up. Oh, I should have made this smaller. Actually, you know, just make it smaller now. There we go. Okay, should have done that from the get-go. Anyway, each character can equip a weapon. I mean, there's not too much choice with the weapons, despite what you see on the screen here. Like, all weapons kind of function the same for the most part. Some have additional side abilities, as you can see here, but the differences aren't too drastic that's worth mentioning, so I'm going to leave that bit out. Ooh, crap, I screwed up the prints. Okay, that's okay. But you can equip a dragon, and the dragon does kind of also affect stats and abilities and things like that. That's also important. And then you have this extra equipment slot called worm prints, and you can equip up to 8 of them as where the current state of the game is at. And so, and there are a lot of worm prints to pick from. So the customization is fairly endless. There is a best in slot kind of setup for all the characters. But there are a lot of different prints you can choose from. You can go for different kinds of setups with different abilities and things like that. And so there's a lot of variety. And of course, well, because each character plays a bit differently, you're going to want to set them up differently. So there's a lot of customization in this. There's a lot of equipment, particularly from the worm print section, that will become important. That's kind of it for customization here. But yeah, and then you've got a team of 4 characters. So you've got to... It takes a bit of time, but yeah, you've got to go in and figure out the loadout for each character. But there's a lot of customization. Each character has a different weapon, a different dragon. I can equip different worm prints to them. I've equipped a particular set of prints here because I wanted to showcase some stuff. We'll talk about this screen in a bit because it's very, very handy. But that's that point there. So good character variety, good customization. You may see other characters throughout the rest of this stream here in this review. So we'll talk about those when we get there. Alright, team loadouts. Since we're already here, we can talk about team loadouts. Given the fact that there's so much customization, given the fact that there are a lot of different boss fights, as you saw on some of the earlier screens with all the different content in the game, that it's going to be hard to try and save every single configuration. And luckily, Cygames have given us a number of different slots to save these different loadouts. So coming here, we have 9 pages of teams that you can save, and I've actually utilized them all, and frankly, it's still not enough. It's still not enough to cover all the content of the game. Granted, there are some slots here that I don't actually use anymore because I've kind of beaten this particular content and I don't need to play it ever again. But yeah, there are 9 pages of 6 team slots. So 54 different teams that you can save, which is quite a lot, even though I still say it's not enough, but it's still quite a lot for you to be able to save stuff. Not only that, but what became more important was that you wanted a particular loadout for particular characters. So each character also has a particular equipment set, which is great. So I don't use Yuden, so he could have up to 3 sets, but or every character can, but I don't actually use him enough, so I don't actually have any sets for him. But I probably have 1 or 2. Okay, just the 1. I was probably meant to save a few more, but I've got 1 set that's different to what I'm using right now. Laxi, I've got 1. Hildegard, I've got a couple which I use for different content at different times. So each character has their own unique equipment set that you can load out. So a healer is probably going to roughly be built roughly the same. So there might only be a number of combinations you want to save that you don't have space in this wider team loadout page. So you can save it to the equipment set, which is great. And then further to that, because the worm print section is a lot, takes more time to configure because there's so many slots here. There is a worm print deck, which again has 9 pages of like 6 different slots. So again, for 54 different worm print setups. This was a good idea, and I was trying to use it for a while. And then I figured that it wasn't as useful because you're basically saving a combination of 8 worm prints. The problem is it's unlikely that you're going to use the exact same set of 8 worm prints on any 2 characters. Between any 2 characters, you might have the same 6 or 7 worm prints, but you're going to be changing at least one of them. And so that this kind of didn't work out. But at least they acknowledged that, hey, we recognize that you have a certain combination of 8 worm prints. Maybe you want to save them out to a different section. So there was a worm print deck section as well, which was handy. But eventually wasn't particularly useful. So I can put something like a generic healer set here to put on any healer, but I would probably want to customize each individual healer for their particular playstyle. Maybe there was a particular ability that I needed to focus on for the healer, and I would therefore equip different worm prints because of that, or something else. But nonetheless, there was ways to kind of save your loadout, and Cygames gave us a lot of ways to do that. Like, not many other games have that much room for like saving your team loadouts. Like you might go into a map and you gotta pick like 5 or 6 characters, and you want to pick and you want to save that configuration to use in future maps. You might only get like a handful of those loadouts, but here we've got 54, and then more depending on some of the different submenus, which is great. Not only that, one more section is in every individual piece of content you clear in solo, there is a feature called Preferred Team. When you beat it for the first time, it can save the team you used, and it'll load it up. So here's, interestingly enough, when I played this event, here is the first team I used to clear it. I don't even remember this team. But that it just basically means for every boss fight you clear, you don't even have to use those 54 slots that I just showed you. You can save each quest has its own internal team slot that saves the last team you use that you beat the quest with. And that's pretty cool. I know some games might have that, but this definitely adds a lot more flexibility to like you remembering the specific setup you used to beat a certain fight in this game. So it's great that I can either try a different team or I can use the last one that I actually beat the quest with, and that's great. I don't even remember how this was set up, but evidently I beat this a long time ago because you can see there are a number of worm print slots that are empty just because the content wasn't released at that time. So that's very interesting. But there you go, that's team loadouts. I think this game does it really, really well. But we can talk about the fact that the customization was pretty deep. But at least the game gave you a lot of ways to save your team loadouts, and I thought that was a good thing. Okay, half an hour down already. Jeez, we need to speed this one up. Range of game modes. Okay, yeah, okay. All I'm gonna say here is there was a lot of game modes. So there was clearly a boss fight that I just showed you. There are story modes where you're kind of walking through a map. Actually, let's play one of those. Can we play one of those quickly? Just so you can get a bit of a taste of what that's like. Oh, actually, we need to come back to this in a second. Damn, okay. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to do all of that. Yeah, worth showing it. Now, do we have one that where we walk? Is that one where we can actually just walk straight to the end? Surely this one is, right? They're not all boss fights. Yeah, they're not all boss fights. Okay, so you've got your generic standard story modes, story maps where you've got a map, you've got to walk through the beautiful scenery, fight little enemies, and then you fight a big boss at the end. So that's kind of, yeah, here we go. Man, this is basically the end of the story. Look how pretty that kind of looks. That's kind of cool. But yeah, walk through. Here's little enemies, so let's tap the screen, fight the enemies, that kind of stuff. I mean, that's how you first get introduced to the game. You see all that kind of stuff. Playing with mouse is really hard. But that's what that looks like. I'm not going to go any further for that. That's just more to just show what that looks like. So you've got that kind of content. You've got the boss fight content, which you've just seen. There are different kinds of battles as well. Like, there's defensive battles where you need to defend a gate. Let's see if we can show that one quickly as well. Do I need to download the content? I probably do. Ah, geez, you know what? I thought I downloaded everything. Okay, I guess we're not going to be able to show that. Actually, wait, are there defensive events? Can I just... I could just go into one of these. Yeah, okay. Ah, this is annoying. We'll talk about this factor in a bit. The game's not perfect. There's lots to talk about. Defensive battles whereby you've got to defend an objective from sort of waves of enemies. It wasn't quite perfect. It was okay. We're gonna have a quick look at that. Yeah, we can have a quick look at this one. Yeah, we'll just run with it. Again, see, I've got a pre-saved team that I can just immediately load up. I don't have to worry about setting up a team or anything like that. I just kind of go, well, what did I last beat this fight with? I just press the preferred team button and then boom, straight into it, which is great. No need to think or plan. Yeah. So then you've got content like this where you've got this castle here, it's got a HP bar, you see enemies that are coming towards you based on this meter at the top here, and your job is to defend it. You end up playing more offensively than defensively. But again, you see the map is a lot different. There are multiple ways in which the enemy could be coming towards your little castle here in this corner. And your job is to defend it. Defend and clear other enemies and things like that. I thought that was kind of cool. Of course, you can see I'm drifting further and further away from the actual castle. So it became a little bit more offensive rather than defensive. But it was an interesting idea. At least made the content a little bit different, which was nice. Then there are a few other game modes that like this. I won't talk too much more about that. You could have a read of the wiki to see all the different kinds of fights that you could do. But there are some other kinds of content that's worth calling out. One of them... Yeah, let's go through some of the other ones. You've got Mercurial Gauntlet, which was basically... oh, there's Kaleidoscape. We will talk about that a little later, because that was a really good mode, but I'm not going to have time to show it. You've got Mercurial Gauntlet, which was basically bashing... well, you're fighting a still enemy, and you're basically trying to do as much damage as you can. Ew, is this what I used before? Whatever. I don't think I'm going to be able to auto it, but you can at least get a taste of what that looks like. This was basically testing to see whether your team could output enough damage to kill the boss in a sufficient amount of time. So, again, it's not as interactive, but it was really more about, yeah, DPS checks. You could use it to test characters and test their combos and see how good they were. So I thought so that's actually quite useful. You can kind of see a lot of players were using this to kind of gauge, oh, is this character strong or not? Were they doing a lot of damage or not? That kind of stuff. That's kind of what this was for. And of course, well, yeah, the idea was you only clear it once really, just so that you can unlock some rewards. It was a different game mode, like I was saying. Oh, I'm gonna need more water. You've got different kinds of boss fights, so void battles, endgame battles. We won't go into all that. They're all roughly the same. Each boss has its own mechanics. We will talk about that in a bit as well. The line escape, we'll talk about that in a second. Huh. There is oh no, not the compendium. There is this this mode that they introduced for April Fool's Day, I think it was. It's just a friendly photo kind of mode for you to just hang out with your characters. Man, I'm gonna miss this mode so much. You basically have this dog and you just pick the characters that you want, and you can go in and I should have actually demonstrated some stuff in this, but I don't think you can attack. But you can like play with the dog. You can get your characters to do that. You can go into photo mode, which is kind of cool. Look at that. There's Yuden running in the side there. This was obviously more gimmicky. It wasn't main content, but it was just nice and relaxing content. And I know a lot of players probably are playing with this right now because they want to create some last-minute memories and all of that. But you can do this, and then I think the character would then interact with the dog or something. Throw ball. You can play fetch with the dog, or all kinds of things, and then I think can we get okay, nice. Can we get the character to wait? How do I? Oh wait, I can't put how do I put dragons and stuff in it? I forgot. No, you don't stab the dog. Anyway, okay, I forgot how the rest of this mode works. But yeah, it's kind of a fun little gimmicky kind of thing. Not main content, but it was nice and relaxing. Very nice, very gimmicky. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, in the interest of time, I'm probably not gonna have time to show it all. Yeah, more boss fights. Okay, so the only other two main modes to really talk about would have been Kaleidoscape, which was basically it's a roguelike kind of dungeon mode where you're trying to clear 50 floors, 60 floors. 60 floors. It's kind of like the same story mode map, but your character's level starts at like your character starts at level 1. And you kind of collect items and abilities as you progress through the fight. It's actually pretty interesting. Might as well do this just because this is going afterwards as well. I might as well just show this very quickly and briefly. But this was probably the best mode that there was. Instead of beating a boss and stuff like that, it was you've got a character with a randomized setup, as you can see here, and the point was to actually run through maps, clear the floor, collect items as they drop. I'm just gonna run through because I'm not bothered, but you can then, you just fight things, collect chests and get more equipment, level up, get stronger, and pick better equipment to then tackle the later floors and then try and beat all 60 floors that way. So I think that's kind of cool. Different music plays throughout this mode as well, and then you just keep progressing to the next floor and things like that. And then when you beat the mode, you get a randomized set of loot that you can then use in the main content. But this is very different to the normal mode, and but it was really good because these floors are all randomized. The items are randomized. These skills and abilities you can pick up are all randomized. I mean, there's not too much variety, but they were going to add more variety as the game progressed. Yeah, there's a lot of nice different kind of look at that. There's a lot of different variety and stuff for that, which is kind of cool. Retry, suspend. Yeah, we're done talking here. And then the last mode to also show would be PvP. PvP was interesting. I wonder if anyone's playing that right now. There was actually a PvP mode that was frankly quite free to play friendly because everyone started on the same level playing field. There wasn't anything that you could do to gain an advantage. So you pick a class. So let's pick sword, and you basically go into arena with it was a bit like Fortnite and PUBG, where you could kind of hide in different parts of the map, and there'd be a circle that kind of shrinks as time goes on, and and the idea is to obviously outlast the other players. But because everyone started on a level playing field, there was no pay to win in this mode, which was great. And there weren't any rewards that were like essential for progression. Like obviously, if you played it, you could get rewards that could help you with the rest of the game, but it wasn't essential. I think that's what's good. There was very limited PvP in this game, and what there was wasn't pay to win, and that's great. I think that's definitely a big call out. Let's see what actually loads up. I don't know if it will or not. There might not be enough players actually trying to match for this anymore. Looks like there may not be. Oh, there is. Okay. I don't play this mode very much, so... yeah. It was fun. I personally just didn't get much time to actually play through this, but it was okay. So everyone starts at level 1. Equipment and stuff doesn't matter. Everyone starts with like no equipment. Yeah, but you fight your way through, trying to stay alive and trying to juke the other players, basically. Let's see how we go, but yeah, look at that. That map is huge. Okay, I don't even know half of this stuff. I've got a Bahamut now. Interesting, okay. Been a while. Yeah, there's a heal there. Oh, there's a... Okay, let's run away from that player there, because I'm not good at these kinds of games. Ah, but we should level up. We should level up. Okay, let's pick up this ability. Can I quit? I can probably quit. Or maybe if I die, then I can just move on to talking about the rest of the content. Let's try and kill Athemia here. Worth talking about is the fact that... And goodbye. I'm gonna roll into the poison and pick up these items here. Sorry, it's not that I wanted to kill you. It's just more the fact that I wanted to show off the content on stream. That was the only reason why I killed that player. Yeah, so you can see now on this big minimap in the middle there that yeah, the zone is closing in. I will need to kind of stay within this area eventually. Let's see how many other players I can either find or how much more experience I can get, because I do want to try and level up as much as I can. Oh, someone else has died. Someone else has died. Of course, you can always turtle and just kind of wait until you're the second last player and then ninja someone from the blue. But again, this is a very different kind of playstyle to the rest of the game, which was great and refreshing. Although actually you kind of have to, because it's PvP. But at least it's not too ultra competitive in the sense that there are some kinds of rewards that were... Oh no! Wait, oh yes. Latency issues, definitely worth talking about. Okay, I think this guy doesn't want to... This guy doesn't want to kill. Okay. That's okay, I think we all recognize that the game's ending, so like, let's be friendly and nice. Oh, these two... Oh, let's watch the fight from here. Alright, he's just fighting random mobs. I should kill mobs too to get more EXP. That's not what I wanted. Actually, I might as well heal and then pick up this heal. How many players are left? Pretty sure I'm not going to win, but that's okay. Okay, this guy's just standing there like a boss. Oh no, he's actually... Okay, he's actually... I thought it was AFK. Interesting. No, I wanted that. Okay. Guys, we have to kill it. Oh, okay. I think this level 5 guy wants to... This level 5 guy wants to kill. No? Yes? Maybe? And I can't tell if the number in the top left corner is the number of players left alive. Because there surely weren't... Okay, 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 okay. Alright. Oh, alright. Oh, okay. I guess this is where I die. Come on. Oh, it lands. Yeah, no good. He's probably gonna just chase me and then... Alright. See if we can actually stay alive longer. Winning is hard. One of the cons I'm gonna call out for this mode is the fact that there's a lot of latency issues and it's really bad. Oh, come on! Got him! Oh, but I'm not the last one. That's not good. That's not good. I've got another dragon though, so whoever's left... Oh, there he is. I'm sorry, sir, but we're gonna have to fight to the death. Oh no, I used the wrong skill! I used the wrong skill! Oh no, I used the wrong thing! Oh, did I actually... Oh, I actually won. I actually won. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to kill you. I was just trying to show off the game mode. I was trying to win. I was trying to win. Okay, well, so that's how that played. It's kind of fun, but you can also see that there was a bit of latency issue there. It's not the best. Ah, this green screen. Okay. There you go. So and you win some relatively inconsequential rewards. Relatively inconsequential. Like obviously you got to get something for it. But there you go. It's pretty fair, although it's pretty buggy and laggy. 16 players co-op, yeah, didn't really work too well, which is a bit of a shame. Okay, I think I've talked about all the different kinds of game modes there. So there's actually a lot of content to play, a lot of different content. So it wasn't just like other games, go into a map and you press your buttons and fight, and that's kind of like there were different game modes with different objectives, and that was good. Gave the game a lot more variety. What's next? Collabs. Okay, so in terms of collab events, I don't have any I can really show. Okay, fine. Well, there are the 2 Fire Emblem events down here, which they put permanently in the companion, which is great. I love this feature. The fact that you can access past events and go in and either clear content and get some of the rewards that you might have missed when the event actually ran. Or if you just want the nostalgia factor, you want to play it whenever you want. Yeah, it was like an event on demand, which is great. So there's the companion for that. Crossover events, yeah, sorry. Fire Emblem happened. I wish I made a list properly for this. Fire Emblem, we got Mega Man. Here's Mega Man. We got Monster Hunter, so we've got, okay, well, no, okay, we've got, for example, we've got Berserker here who's holding a Rathalos Greatsword. And in all fairness, though, the real part to show that we did have a thing like that was here's Dread King Rathalos. Look at that! That model is so good. And not only Dread King Rathalos, we also got Fatalis. Where's Fatalis? I have all the characters here, luckily. Too many icons. Here we go. He's fatty right here. Man, even the tail barely fits on the screen. That is so cool. So there were lots of different events. The big thing is the fact that... oh, actually, let's keep going through the other events. They did Persona 5 as well, so... I have a Joker somewhere here. Joker was the character I think everyone really wanted, so here's Joker. And there were a few other characters there. What else was there? I did write down a list, actually. No, Fire Emblem, Monster Hunter, Mega Man, Persona 5, Princess Connect. Well, I don't actually have Pekka in to show off. Princess Connect is another side game title, though, so it's not really a collab. So I'm going to skip that. Okay, so there were 4 major collabs. Not a huge number, but it was still pretty good. The big thing, though, is I think the way they designed the characters and the events themselves. So you already saw that I think the models they imported for the collab characters are pretty spot on with how they look in the actual game. So for example, see that stepping animation? That's basically what Rathalos does in the Monster Hunter game, which is kind of cool. In fact, I'm going to show us a video on that right now. So give me a second to switch over to that, and I'm gonna show us some of that footage from that. Now to do that, I need to wait. Oh, no, hang on. I think I know how to do this. Right, where did I put the? Sorry, bear with me just a second here. Oh, here we go. Let's see, which one's the Rathalos event? Okay, wait, so I'm gonna... Okay, let's mute the music temporarily. Actually, let's hide the... Actually, I know how to do this. I'm gonna hide the screen. Turn that off for a second. And let's see, which... Okay. And now let's pick the... Yeah, let's commentate through this. Let's show this one. Audio could be... Oh no. Wait, okay, no, let's just... Oh, I could have just done this. Okay. So firstly, what you notice is that they've obviously imported some of the... Actually, let's just go back to the side of that. They've imported some of the music from the original game. So this is, you know, one of the menu themes from Monster Hunter Generations, which is cool. And we're heading into a Dread King Rathalos fight, and you'll see immediately just how amazingly well it was done. Not to mention they also updated the menu. The menu looks pretty good. But there you go. You've got Rathalos running across the screen as if it was from Monster Hunter. Doesn't it just look like very similar? Like literally charging across the screen. And not only that, you've got fireball effects. You've then got... We need to fix that green screen. I might do that in a second. The roar actually stuns your characters momentarily. Dragon Rathalos is in the air, you can still hit him, but he actually flies across the screen. Like basically all the attacks that he does, you see that? That was the Talon attack. If you played the series, oh, there's just some... Let's just pause that right there. Oh, there was so much happening right there. There was so much happening there. There was the Talon attack, which if you remember from the Monster Hunter games, when if Rathalos hits you with that, you get poisoned. And that's precisely what happens with my character here. Like, Cleo here has the poison debuff icon. If you look at towards the bottom of the screen, that little poison icon, the one with the little half red circle E thing around it, gets poisoned. Just like, staying true to what the original game was about. And they even preserved the animation of if you were to topple a monster while it was flying, it would actually show the rest of that animation. They'll actually drop to the ground. So you saw Rathalos drop to the ground there. They actually preserved all the tail gets cut off and you get that animation as well. All the animations from the original game were preserved and brought in and then adjusted to, I guess, what made sense in this game. Now obviously we're not chopping off monster parts per se, but we are fighting it. We are breaking the tail, the wings and everything, and you can see the model updates based on that, which is kind of cool. I am going to try and fix my glitch gun while we talk through the rest of this footage, so enjoy this pre-recorded footage from, like, I don't know, 2 years ago. But just the way that they did this event, it just looks so good, and it was very true to source. Well, I'll come back to some of the characters in a bit to talk through how else they did that, but until then, I'm going to try and fix my green screen. I kind of wish I didn't have to deal with that right now, but such is how that is. Okay. Alright. What do you want from me? Hey, can we do this? A little bit better. That's too much. Hang on. Oh, no, that's too much. That's not enough. Okay, whatever. This is as much as I can do. But there you go. Like, this was a great club event. it just how well they made it. I thought it was pretty good. All the sounds get imported and everything. It was cool. And again, this game does remind me a lot about like Final Fantasy XIV in terms of the whole raid, boss fighting mechanic, the boss and set patterns, and you're trying to remember that. And then you've got things like, well, the fact that I guess Final Fantasy XIV also had like a Monster Hunter collab as well, and they tried to kind of localize the fight with Rathalos in the game, but make it make sense for that. And I think something like Monster Hunter fits really well in a game like this. It just works and it feels natural. Like it wasn't like oh, you know, I don't know, they could have. Oh, I don't know. It just fits. It just fits. I just feel like there can be some collab events where the original material just doesn't really fit that well. Actually, maybe it's worth mentioning that. Okay, that's probably enough there. Cool. Okay, so that was that. Let's come back to this now. Cool. Yeah, I think they did that well, and it just worked a lot better. I mean, there were, I guess, maybe some collab events that were not as good. The Fire Emblem one is okay. It would be worth showcasing that, but nah, it's okay. I might not. I might skip that. But actually, the last thing I want to cover regarding collabs was the fact that the characters were done quite well. Every character has a unique set of abilities. If anything, again, I just want to go off the Monster Hunter one because I was so impressed by it. They actually purposely designed skills in this game that almost matched up with the Monster Hunter skills. So Moonbreaker and Lion's Maw are actually the what are they called? The not switch skills. The Hunter Arts. The Hunter Arts from Generations. You might recognize those. And basically all the other collab characters had the same thing too. So I think I had Hunter Ceris here. Hunter Ceris is just a bow. She's got, you can see Mizusune in the background for this art. That is so pretty. That art is good. And there's a Mizusune there. She's wearing the Mizusune kind of armor as well. There's a Patlico there. Looks great. But then you've got, again, Tactical Retreat and Haste Rain being some of the Hunter arts that the bow has, which is kind of cool. And I remember when that collab happened, I remember Gaijin Hunter actually playing this game. Because he was like, oh, this Monster Hunter being collabed in a different game. He actually played Dragalia Lost for a while because of that collab. And that just shows like how well that collab was done because it actually brought in fans from that franchise over. Yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of other characters I like to flick through. But, okay, well, that's kind of it for collabs. Quality of life. Oh, cool. Okay, so again, a lot of different things here. The first thing is, okay, well, something we can definitely show is, oh, we've only got an hour left. One-click dailies. One-click dailies. So, part of what makes the game quite fast, actually, is the fact that I can do all my dailies in one click. Most of them, for the most part. Most of them. You will see that there are a number of chests I can collect here, and I would have to clear each of these quests one at a time, with or without skip tickets, whatever it is. There's a few here, there's a few more down here. Some of these are weekly chests, we don't have to worry about that. But there's a one-click daily like bonus skip button. So I can just pick the quests I want to do. I normally don't do this one because I customize my setup, but it doesn't matter today because it's the last day. You can then choose the element you want to do for some of these other battles because there are drop bonuses depending on which day it is. So for example, this week it's currently Shadow, so we'll pick Shadow for everything. Zodiac is Shadow, and of course this is Shadow as well. So with one press of a button, I can pick the team I want to use to clear it, just for them to get the EXP. For this one, for example, I use 5 skip tickets and the stamina, and boom, dailies done. One-click dailies. They didn't add that at the very start, but I forgot when they added it, but it was a nice feature. It saved a bit of time. If you didn't do that way, even with skip tickets, like it'd be very fast. You could get it done within a couple of minutes. but you just didn't have to sit through any loading screens. You didn't have to click multiple times. It was just one click. That was good. That means I should also collect my daily rewards for the final time. Not that it matters. The next quality of life to talk about actually comes from the events. So one of the standard features of Cygames events is that you normally play the event, and then there's kind of event loot, and then there's also event chests for you to open. So you basically play the event, you farm some kind of event currency, and you spend the event currency for additional rewards. Most gacha games have that. So for example, I have 8,602 of these things, so I can pull from this box 8,602 times. That's a lot if I was to do it one at a time, and most games now implement, do multiple pulls at the same time. That's great. Depending on what game it is, you can also look at the loot list, and you'll see that some rewards are more important than others. There are obviously the rare ones, there's only one copy of each, and then you've got the more common ones, which you kind of don't care about. The ones you do care about are the ones highlighted at the top here, as you can see. So you might say to yourself, okay, so I want these rewards, I don't care about these rewards, but I've got 8,000 pulls. How do I make sure, or in this box, I've got 500 pulls. How do I make sure that I use the optimal number, that I make sure that I don't, I don't want to use all 500 because I want to save them for the next box, or something like that. I want to be able to just get the big rewards that I want and nothing more. How do I do that? Well, in this game, they actually added that in, which you might have seen when I flicked to the screen already. I can click this box here that says summon until the main reward appears or everything's consumed. So it'll stop automatically before 5:35 and give me the main reward, which is this big gem thing here. So I can just do that. And with one click, it'll just simply roll through them one at a time until it gets to that reward I want. There you go, there's that last reward there. And I got that in 195 summons. I'm done. So instead of needing to go through all 535, I could just press that one button and then I'm done. Now, for me specifically, I do care about some of these other rewards, so I will want those as well. So the other good thing about this game, I mean, most other games have this now, but I think it's just how well they program it. But having a sliding bar to select how many of something that you want to do is important, and I think this bar here is very, very fluid. It feels very easy to use and navigate. It's not like I could click different parts of it, and it might jump around a bit, but I feel like generally when I grab and slide it, I can be fairly accurate. So if I want to get to 200, 200, okay, not super easy, but I can almost adjust to it. But I feel like some bars that programmers create, like they're not that good. Like they don't snap very well. We could keep going, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so and I could keep doing that with the other boxes and everything, but I'm not going to. But that was just to show that kind of quality of life there. Yeah, I purposely saved all that currency so I could do it right here for this video. But it doesn't matter because everything's gonna end anyway. What's another quality of? Oh, okay. The next thing to talk about also is, oh, it's not here. Oh no, it is here. So one thing the player base requested was, because of this whole worm print thing, and remember these are the extra kind of equipments that you have 8, that you can equip 8 of them to each of your characters. There's 334 of them, each with unique art. The art is pretty. We'll talk about that later if I remember to. But searching through this is a pain. So unless you're good at recognizing the pictures, and when you play the game long enough, you will. But if you're a new player, you'd be like, dude, there's 334 different things here. There's no text telling me, there's no text telling me anything about them, and I could change the mode and you could see the text. And even if you see the text, you'd be like, that is a lot to scroll through. What am I gonna do? There's a search bar. I can search for specific abilities or names of worm prints. So for example, if I want to look for the skill, we've got Punisher skills, Strength. Strength is a stat that, every game is familiar with. Strength. If I type in Strength, it's now going to give me only the Strength, the worm prints that have the word Strength in it. which is great. Text searching, so there's only 29. So I can easily filter that and then search to figure out the one I want to look at, and then just click into it. And then I can, you know, navigate and do whatever I need to. Or I can search by name. So, for example, Endless. Oh, okay, that wasn't the one I was looking for. What's that one called? What's the Oranai Sekai that one? Olarin, is it called this one? No. Where's the Dark Hole Worm print? No, that's not what it's called. What was it called? In an Endless World. Right? Wasn't it called that? What was it called? In an unending world. Oh, okay. They just used a different word there. That's the Dark Hole Worm print that you get from buying the CD for the game. I have that. Anyway, so you can search it by the name, and it will show up by name. So if you remember the name of the worm print, just because it's based on pictures. So here's the one with Alphonse from Fire Emblem. They drew a nice little piece of art for that. That's kind of cool. That looks good. All the art in this game looks good, in my opinion. But yeah, you could search by abilities. You could search by name. It was easy. So HP. Here are the HP related prints. I think that was nice. Although you might say it's only there because there was just so much stuff on that menu that made it very hard to kind of navigate. So it was a very necessary feature, less so a quality of life. But there was a time where we didn't actually have a search feature. We had to figure out, like, we had to match the pictures up. It was actually very, very hard. So it's nice that they had a search function there. What else? No, that's kind of the main features. Some of the other features that were kind of nice was little shortcuts to kind of move faster through the different menus. So for example, if I want to pop into the last quest I did, I can just hold onto the home button here. And it's going to take me, well, actually I didn't do any of the quests really. I think I was in Compendium, so it doesn't take me there. But I can hold it to get to the thing. I can hold down Castle. It's going to take me to Castle mode. I know I didn't talk about this mode, but there'd normally be other menus that you'd have to go through. I could come straight there. So normally if I click on the Castle button, it will take me to this menu. Then I can click further to get into where I want to go. Or I could just hold down the button and get there faster. Don't think it really works on any of these other menus, but okay, that's a minor shortcut. But it was nice. Cool. Okay, so that's quality of life. The gacha. Running out of time. Let's talk about the gacha now. So the reason I think the gacha is good, and we could debate this all day about what makes a good gacha and not a good gacha. I think firstly, this is the whole table of rates is very clear, easy to read, well formatted. I think the English that the team uses is very clear. I'm thinking of another game right now that's going through a controversy whereby they didn't really spell out how the banner works, and it really just goes to show that being very articulate in how the banner works is important. Whether you have very simple mechanics in how the probabilities are distributed and things like that, that's completely up to the developers. Sure, you do whatever you want, but you need to articulate to your players how the probabilities work, how they change, and what happens. And I think it's quite straightforward, quite clear. There isn't much room for ambiguity. There is more information here about how they work. So what is the summon shotgun? This is where you can use you may summon Here's how it works. If a 5-star does not appear up to 10 summons, then the rate increases by 0.5%, and then so on and so forth. Here's an example of how that works, and here's more examples of like different scenarios and like it's long, but reading it does allow you to kind of understand what's happening, and so it's clear and transparent. It's long, but it's also reasonably well formatted, which is good. So there's one aspect that's important. The next aspect is the rate itself. So it's a 4% SSR rate, which is pretty high by today's standards. Like, there aren't that many games that have as high a rate as 4%. When it's on Gala, which is once a month, the rates go up. It's 6%. That's pretty good. The pool is split between characters and dragons though, so there's that. But it's 4% for an SSR character, which is pretty high. There's nothing on feature up for this particular banner, but feature up rates would be 0.5% for adventurers, which is the characters you control, and then it's 8% for dragons, which is a little bit higher. There aren't as many dragons. Dragons are important too. But yeah, characters are at 0.5%. A little lower compared to other games, but 0.5% is not too bad. What I wanted to call out though is the rates themselves don't matter as much. You could have the most generous rates, but it all depends on how much currency the game actually gives you. You could have a 10% SSR rate for all I care, but maybe the game only gives you like 10 pulls a year. Pretty crap, right? Doesn't work, which is why I posted the numbers here thanks to Donkey, who is one of the mods in the main Discord. He was tallying up the amount of currency, free currency, we were getting as players over the years. And I've only added up the numbers for the last 2 years of service. And here are the numbers here: 2,310 in the 3rd year, and 2,100 in this last 4th year of service. I didn't count the first 2 years because I guess the company kind of changed a little bit, and you know, so there were more summons there. I think things did go a little bit down over time, but 2,000 summons a year is a lot. I don't know if anyone's ever counted the number of summons in other games, but this is a lot. If you multiply that by the 4% rate here, you're saying basically that we're expecting 90-ish or so SSR units a year. 90 SSR units. Yeah, okay, you might get some duplicates, but 90 SSR units, that's a lot. And if we're talking about featured characters, and and there's also a Spark system, I should have pointed that out. Spark systems require 300 pulls. So if you look at the numbers here, 300 pulls, that's a minimum 7. Minimum 7 characters you can pick in a year. That's okay. That's like about a little more or less? A little less than 1.5 months for a Spark. So if you want to measure it that way, 1.5 months for a Spark, that's probably okay, right? I don't know, compared to other games. There's that. But what makes this game even more generous is the fact that we get showered with free currency more often than you think. Exhibit A, let's see, here we go. Exhibit A, this is the wiki. Feel free to check this out afterwards. It's probably where I'm going to be hanging after the game ends because there's so much stuff to talk through here. That screen's going to show off later, but that's okay. This is the list of all the items the developers have given us in the game over the years. Like, it just appears in the mailbox for various reasons. The big thing that I want to highlight, and I literally have a highlight on the screen, is the fact that we get a 10-fold summon voucher quite regularly. For all kinds of reasons. 10 summons, and on this page I counted 70 times. We got 700 summons over the 4 years of this game's service. And why do they give us these vouchers? Version update. Let's actually have a read of this very quickly. As a token of appreciation, the version and they sometimes add new stuff. So every time they update the game, sometimes it's big updates, sometimes it's small updates. But they just kind of go, oh, I have to expand this again. They just kind of go, oh, we've updated the game, we've fixed a few bugs. Here, have 10 free summons, it's on the house. And they've done that 70 times over the course of the life of the game. 70 times that they've just kind of gone, yeah, have some free summons, why not? Just take them. Just take them. But there are a whole bunch of other rewards as well. There's actual currency that they do give us for other reasons as well. There's gold and other resources that are useful. But I just want to highlight at least the big one, which is 700 summons just because they were fixing bugs in the game and updating the game. That's pretty cool. Not only that, here are some images that I also want to show. These are from the digest streams on YouTube when they announced like their anniversary stuff and the half anniversary stuff. We got more free summons for anniversary events. So, and I think they are included in these numbers I've got on the screen here, the 2,300 and the 2,100. But on top of the 710 folds that you got just from them fixing bugs and updating the game, we have Let's see if I can do this right. Oh, not this one. Anniversary 100 free summons. 1.5 year anniversary, 60 free summons. Not as good, but that's a half year kind of thing. Second year anniversary, 330 summons. 330. This is crazy. This happened around the same time as I remember another noteworthy game being released. Maybe it was the 3rd year anniversary. Oh no, this happened around. Yeah, actually, I can't remember now. 330 summons, 2nd anniversary, 3rd anniversary. So last year, 380 free summons. 380. Absolutely crazy. So there you go. Counting this up, you know, of the 2,000 and so summons we get in a year, a good 1/7 of it came from the anniversary event. Absolutely crazy. That is a lot. Side games are known to be quite generous with their pools, and that's great. The fact that they give so much. Like, you think of other developers and other games, I don't think they give this much in their anniversary events. Like, this is a lot. It's worth noting. So there you go. That's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. Let's get this off the screen now. But I hope that makes the point that the devs were very, very generous in this game. That's what makes the gacha good, I think. The rates were high. There's a lot of currency. There's a spark system. The way the gacha work was very clearly written. These rates can be quite clearly read and seen. Yeah, it's a long list, but hey, they showed us everything. Better to be more transparent than less, right? It was formatted quite well too. Very generous. So despite what, I'm sure a lot of players who play this game are going to agree that this was one of the most generous gacha games there is. And it's the one point I want to finish up in terms of of all the good points for this game on, is that, yeah, I don't think any of the new gacha games are going to be as generous as this one. That's the real worry, and what would potentially be a shame. But I absolutely enjoyed summoning this game, to the point that I actually paid money for the dream summons, where you could choose any character you wanted. I bought that like 3 times for the 3 different years, and then in this 4th year we got one for free because they were shutting it down. But I actually spent money on this game because they were so generous, rather than the other way around where I needed to put money in because they were stingy and wouldn't give me anything. But that's me. Yeah, to the point that I think overall, with how generous they were, as someone who, aside from the dream summons, was free to play, and I stated this in my gacha streams before, I managed to pull 273 out of 298 characters, and I'm missing 1 dragon, 132 out of 133. I'm very close to getting all of them. Very close. And, yeah, I was missing a handful of characters here. So that amounted to 94% of the pool. 94% of this pool I got mostly for free. Mostly for free. I want to say completely free, but yeah, I did pick 3 characters based on that. But for a game that had a huge roster, I was able to, with relative ease, get most of the characters in this roster. I think that's a pretty good experience overall. Right, we only got half an hour, and I gotta rant about some of the negatives and all of that. One thing I don't have a slide for, or do I? Let's check quickly. Do I have a slide for this? No. Let's talk about that in a second. Okay, let's just hide this temporarily. One final good thing I want to talk about for this game is the AI is good. I think the AI is pretty good. But it does lead into this. It does lead into this. I think the AI is pretty good. If you consider the fact that most games have an auto mode, and they should, you generally worry about whether characters on auto will play optimally. And I think the answer is generally yes. Yes, they were actually quite decent. Oh, actually, I forgot to do one more thing. I'll do that in a second later. I'll go back to the gacha point I just made. I should have finished that first point. But anyway, we'll talk about auto. We'll talk about the AI for a second here. Let's make it 1 time speed. You can see that the characters actually run away and dodge stuff. Like, okay, this guy's swinging his axe and he's totally missing. But you see all my ranged characters are standing safely, like, not in harm's way. And the interesting thing as well is that most characters won't just simply attack, and then use the skill automatically when they can. Some will, depending on the AI, but some characters aren't meant to be played that way, as I discussed at the very beginning. There are different rotations that characters are meant to utilize and things like that. And so the AI actually respects that, and they actually went and customized the AI of most characters so that they all behaved unique to that character. So if a character needed to, say, save both skills first, and then use them in a certain order or under certain circumstances, then the AI will actually save those skills up and do that. And the only reason why you won't see that here for this character is simply because this character this is an offensive character and just does that. Let's see what happens if I change to a healer and see what the AI does, although I think I might lose and die here, but we'll see. So here, for example, this character, okay, he's going to change. Is going to, okay, so Not changes into her dragon form, and then she kind of does stuff. And she's going to hopefully automatically shift back to heal. Or not. Okay, I guess she's not going to shift back because she doesn't need to heal. But she should hopefully automatically shift back. Let's see if that happens. Really? No one needs to heal? Don't you need to heal now? Yeah, see, so she'll automatically shift back. And now she's going to heal herself. Excellent. So, that Dragon Gauge normally would need to run out first under any normal circumstances, because the AI is going to be like, oh, Dragon Form equals power, and we want to cause more damage, so let's do that. But the healer's AI goes, oh, okay, well, I'm actually going to, for a healer, optimize the healing aspect and then do damage where I think it's safe to do damage. So they actually fixed the AI. Well, they tried to write the AI for this particular character so that she would focus more offensively when healing wasn't needed, as indicated by the top left of the screen here, and then switch back into a more of a healing mode when healing was needed. So that's great. I think the AI did a really good job of that. Oh crap, let's not repeat. I don't have time for repeat, but let's see if we can quickly wrap up this fight. Oh shoot, Not is dead. Okay, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, we can just quit. We don't care. But that's just to showcase. I think the AI was done really well in this game, to the point that sometimes the AI played better than human players, especially with dodging attacks. Like, you might actually roll into an attack, but the AI was very frame perfect. It knew how to just step outside the target zone. I mean, they coded it that way, but sometimes it would play better than humans, which is very laughably funny. Okay, one last thing before we start talking about the bad aspects is I want to show you the gacha animation, because I should have done that before. This is going to be the very last 10 pull, because I gathered enough currency in the last couple of days. But I think the summoning animation in this game, and you're going to find clips of this on YouTube everywhere, but I think it was good and memorable. And the good thing is that throughout most of the animation, it always keeps you in suspense about what you got and whether it's useful or not. Now, let's see, if I get a 5-star in SSR from this, I can talk you through how there's a bit more suspense. And if I don't, then, well, you're going to have to watch back through some of my older gacha streams. But let's see. Last tenfold ever in this game. It makes me sad thinking that. I got nothing, I think. The one dove means I could have gotten something. No rainbow. Okay, there's still suspense, because the 10th summon could turn into a rainbow at the very last second. It might not happen. I've recorded it in previous footage, but I have to wait because it might happen. No, okay. But if nothing else, like, again, the music. Coming back to the music. Like, the home screen menu, the gacha summoning animation, and the whole gacha sequence. The music is just so good to bop to. Like, if you were going to blow your money, at least blow your money on, like, to a nice song, to a nice tune. I think that was good. The animations are pretty solid, pretty nice. Are they any better than other games? I mean, that's subjective. I think they're pretty good. The 5-star animations were nice. Well, that's it. I am more or less out of currency. Alright. we've got half an hour left. Let's talk about the negatives now. Every good game has its flaws, and as we've talked about all the good aspects of this game, it's time to bash it for some of the bad things that we really didn't enjoy about this game. The first one is the grind. Maybe I won't spend too long talking about it, but I will simply show everyone this. Well, not this page specifically, but this page. So, one of the biggest grinds in this game is building out weapons. Actually, it is possible for me to show that first. Let me do that. The grind was mostly in the weapons. Kind of like Monster Hunter, ironically enough. Basically, you had a whole lot of different classes of weapons. And then within each class of weapon, you then have 9 weapon types. And within each weapon type, there are 5 elements. So there's a lot of weapons to make. And the unfortunate thing compared to Monster Hunter is you kind of have to make them all, because every element matters, every weapon class matters. You need to make at least 1 copy of each weapon. I haven't fully upgraded this one. But and not only that, but the good thing is, as you build each weapon, you can unlock bonuses that kind of add stats to your entire party if you've kind of more or less max upgraded that weapon. So you see, I've actually completed this. It took a long time to do it. It took a lot of grinding. It took a lot of resources, but I got there. And that was only easy. And the only way I could make it easy for myself to do was having a spreadsheet that literally tracked every single weapon, every single upgrade, and every single piece of material that it costed, from the gold, the rupees, to every single individual resource, endgame boss resources, and things I needed to farm. Thousands upon thousands of rows, because I literally imported every piece of information. Obviously, I did some copy and paste stuff to make it easier, and I use Excel for a living, so it's not too bad. I never shared this with any of the community because it's pretty big and it looks pretty ugly, and I'm sure nobody would want to use that. So I made one personally for myself. But at the bottom, I have summed up how much resources you need. If you wanted to get every single upgrade in this game for just one weapon, for each weapon once, it'll cost you 8.5 billion gold. 8.5 billion gold. That's a lot. If you've played the game, that's a huge amount. When you clear one of the daily fights, you only get like 90,000. 90,000. So you do the math. You tell me how many times you'd have to beat that to get enough gold for it. Obviously, the devs gave gold to us over time, and that did help. But that's a lot of gold. Not only that, but all the boss fights, you would require, well over 1,000 materials for like the base tier. So 1,000. Some of these. Oh no, they're all right. Yeah, like 1,117. Yeah, 1,917 of the base resource. Nearly 1,400 for the second level resource, and then over 400 for the third one. And these are boss fights where only like 10 of these drop at a time. So if I need to gather 1,900 of these, I gotta beat this fight 190 times. That's for one element. And then I'm gonna do that again for 5 other elements, for 5 other bosses. That's a lot of clearing. But that's also only for the easiest difficulty. Each of the difficulties can give you resources from other difficulties as well, but it's 190 on the easiest difficulty. It's probably another more than 140 for the second level one. And for the final one, it was probably close to like 50 to 60 times. But that's a lot of grinding for each fight, and also that's one boss. That's one boss. You got to beat each boss across 3 difficulties, like 300 or more times across 3 different difficulties. 300 or so times as a loose estimate, probably close to 400, maybe. Let's just call it 300. 5 bosses for 1,500 fights, and then we had 2 main tiers. Oh, actually, we had 3 tiers of this. We have Primal Dragons. We had Agito. That's another... What did I just say that was? That's another 1,500, so that's 3,000 fights. And then we had High Dragon Trials, which is, you know, roughly similar. My gosh, 9,000 orbs. I think they buffed the drop rate for these, so that's not the worst. But that's 4,500 fights. So the grind was terrible and long and painful. And for that reason, that's also why we had to rely on auto so much. So and ultimately it also led to the downfall of co-op, because the game was quite tricky and hard, and it wasn't easy to well, given how much grinding they had to do. If you were going to play co-op, you'd have to find someone who's willing to sit down with you and actually beat the fight with you like many times. Like, who's going to have time to sit down with you and beat a fight 100 times? That's very, very difficult. Even if each fight takes at least a couple of minutes, it's quite a time commitment. It's not easy to do that. And that's also that's also assuming that your teammates are all coordinated and you all play optimally. We have time. Here's another clip of some very old, I'm gonna mute this first. Here's some old content that I have, some old footage on what some of that grinding looked like from the old days. Let's see. Did we clear this one? Even if we didn't clear. Whoops, sorry. I did something wrong there. Did I click the wrong clip? Oh no. Here we go. Okay. It required a lot of coordination, which is why I think co-op quickly died, because it was just too hard to get this right. This is High Zodiac Master. So this is very, very old. But there was a very meticulous sequence of like steps that you had, like, well, basically sequence of inputs that each player had to remember to do in terms of their roles. Just like a MMO raid, which is kind of interesting and funny. And you had to play very, very particularly. One wrong move and one player dies, and then the fight is over. And given that you saw some of the latency issues with co-op in the 16-player map that I just had, and it's not as bad with 4 players here, but yeah, it was not easy. Obviously, it came with practice to get this down, but you really needed to A, understand the fight and the mechanics, B, execute your part well, and then C, hope that your teammates also execute their parts well in order to get 1 clear. And then you gotta do that up to 200 times, such that the strategy generally wasn't to play it with other players. It was to play it by yourself with an auto team, because the AI could do such a reasonably good job. And so just for the sake of time, there was no point waiting. There was no point looking for players to try and do this. Particularly also because with auto, you don't have to play. You can just sit there and watch it play. I could walk away and then do whatever. and that saved me a lot of time, because I don't have to sit there playing the same fight hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. Yeah, at this point in the history of the game, we didn't have auto for these endgame boss fights. You had to play with other players. And so our only option was to grind it out with other players. So everyone had to learn to actually play that role right. And if you died and if you stuffed up, you were wasting everyone else's time, and it was a little bit toxic. It was a bit hard and tricky because of that. But yeah, but all of this coordination, and this is all happening for a mobile game, no voice chat. I mean, there was Discord, but we went on voice chat or anything like that. Like, there was no real way to really communicate in the game. It was just tricky. But that's what it looked like. It was it was tough. It was hard. And so the grind and all the resources you have to do, and this is still one fight. It's not over yet. It's not over. And you can only play co-op in 1x speed as well. I can at least speed up for auto as well, which is a good thing as well. Another aspect of why auto killed co-op. But it's only because I think ultimately because the grind was just so egregious. It was just impossible to sit down and play through the whole game. You have to no life it. And it was just hard because it's a mobile game. And tricky. There's a clear. That was 3 minutes and a bit. Pretty good time, but that was 3 minutes, and we would then have to beat this another, I don't know, yeah, 50 to 100 times at least on this difficulty. So it would take forever. All right, but I think I've made my point about the grind, that it wasn't very friendly, tricky, difficult. Started making the game a little bit boring as a result. Yeah, okay. In the interest of time, I'm going to move on. I don't think there's much more to say about the grind other than I got there and it felt good, but it was tough. One point off the back of that is the fact that that links to the whole auto and the grind thing is there's no emulator. We had to do all of this on our phones, and having the screen on like this, and or also having to leave my phone on auto means I can't do anything else with my phone. I would much rather, if I have to auto hundreds and hundreds of hours of content, that I could at least do it on an emulator that I could multitask on my PC, right? I could just turn it on, leave it, multitask, do something else, play a different game. But if I was to have to play this game on my phone, no emulator, I can't use my phone for anything else. That was the worst aspect of the grind. And the fact that Nintendo doesn't like emulation. That's probably why they blocked emulators. Most other gacha games don't care about that. I mean, the security risk thing, I think each game knows how to kind of like protect against cheaters and stuff like that. People were still able to inject cheats even via the phone anyway. So it wasn't like the banning of emulators stopped people from cheating. People did cheat in this game. It happened. But no emulator made it very, very hard with the grind. It just capitalizes on just how your phone is pretty much dedicated to playing Dragalia Lost. I think that was challenging. On leave today, yes, I am on leave because this game is shutting down in 17 minutes. I need to cover the pros and cons in another 17 minutes and bid the game goodbye. And I'm only doing it because I invested 3.5 years into this game, thoroughly enjoyed it, thought I'd be here for the last moments of it. That's the only reason why this is all happening. So I'm gonna press on with this because I only have 17 minutes before the game actually shuts down. Like actually shuts down. And we're gonna see actually what happens, like if the moon crashes, like in Majora's Mask or something like that. Endgame Difficulty. I already showed some footage on that earlier, so go rewind and watch that again. It was hard. It was tricky. Lot of learning the fight and the mechanics. And I think at the end of the day, for a mobile game, if you wanted it to play like Final Fantasy 14, like an MMO, I don't know if the mobile games was kind of the right platform or right medium for that. You don't normally associate difficult games being on a mobile, and I think that's what put this game off for a lot of players. Like they kind of play all the story content, they can auto it and all of that, and then you get to the boss fights where there's complicated mechanics. Co-op requires copious amounts of synchronization and everything, and frankly speaking, like, I have not beaten a lot of these fights in co-op. The hardest endgame fights, I couldn't do them in co-op. One, because I couldn't find people, and two, because the amount of coordination I just couldn't do. So see, all the co-op ones, I haven't cleared it, as indicated by these icons here. All these endgame fights, I've cleared them solo, but not co-op. It was just couldn't find the players. I mean, and the game was also dying as well, so there were fewer people playing. But because also nobody wanted to play co-op, it was also hard to find people playing co-op because they rather do solo. They rather do it solo and auto, and they can walk away and not have to be in front of their phone the entire time of this game. But also because it was difficult. challenging. I think I enjoyed the level of difficulty in this kind of game. It was okay for me, but I've had my fair share of frustrations, especially with this bloody fight here, and you probably would have seen me in previous streams on this one. I don't think I have time to show this one, unfortunately, but yeah, it was tricky. So there's that. All right, I think we need to keep pushing through. Screen clutter. Yes, let's talk about screen clutter. In fact, I'm not gonna. I don't need to talk about it, I'm just gonna show you. Let's turn up the visual effects to best. Okay. Interesting. And then let's pop into... okay. Shoot, what am I doing? Okay, sorry. Okay. We're gonna pop into... I'm popping to that same fight that I did at the... Oh, gosh. Wait, no, but I thought I... Really? Okay, this better download it quickly. Good. Oh, it actually deleted the data. We'll talk about that in a second. I had a new slide at the end for that. Oh, I don't have the image to show. Doesn't matter. What I mean by clutter? Oh, yeah. You're gonna see in a second. Where is it? This one. This one's a good showcase for that. So, do I have my thingy team for this? Then it might be a bit better. Okay. Good enough. The game's very pretty. The game has a lot of effects. The problem is when you have too much of a good thing, it ends up being a bad thing. And so with all the... Oh, you can't auto this? Oh, whatever, okay. But with all the special effects happening on the screen, you more or less can't really see what's happening. Like, just from the numbers themselves, I already can't see the boss. Like, there's this flying across the screen, there's stuff on the ground, there's my character shooting stuff, all four of my characters shooting stuff, and then, like, numbers and everything, and it's hard, it's hard. I mean, I can see through it all, because I played these fights plenty of times, but there is just so much clutter on the screen. Covered by numbers, covered by special effects. And this is only when there are 4 characters and a boss on the screen. There is content where there were raid events where it's 4 players with 4 characters. So 16 little characters running around. Each of them releasing their own little beams of light and all other kinds of stuff. This is 4 characters and a boss. Imagine if it was 16 people. And you can probably find footage of that on YouTube. It was basically impossible to see what's happening on your phone. In fact, your phone's graphics processing unit gets put to the test really badly just because of just how much stuff is flying across the screen. You can't really see what's happening, particularly in endgame fights where the boss has really difficult mechanics and you have to pay attention. You have to see where attacks are going to land. If you can't see where the bosses or where the attacks are going to land, it's very hard to play through difficult content. But hopefully I've made my point just from that little bit of a display there. Just way too much screen clutter. Very bad. Unintuitive skills and effects. Okay. Yeah, I need to speed through this. Because there's so much because every character was built so uniquely, it meant that they couldn't just simply do the exact same thing for every single character. Everyone had to be a little bit different. And to the point that understanding how abilities work started becoming more or less, we're talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Levels of how long text was in terms of explaining what an ability does, how it interacts, and things like that. Yeah, okay, I don't have any... Oh, wait, hang on. Like, for example, okay, I'll show one character very quickly, but the text can get quite long. Where is... Oh dear. Gala Alex. I think Gala Alex's abilities were... First of all, the text is... Oh, okay. Okay, it's short, but it was actually very hard to understand. Playing Alex was very different, but... Yeah, you can see that the ability does something different. Different numbers, different effects. at different times under different conditions. You got to go, so how did these conditions happen and things like that? Okay, this wasn't the best example, but every character had like had varying kind of lengths of text. Okay, yeah, okay. Unfortunately, I am out of time and I can't really find a great example for it. But if you look at the wiki, you will see like different characters have huge paragraphs of text on how abilities work. Very hard to understand. And in fact, the thing is as well is with all the worm prints I was talking about, their interactions with all the characters' abilities and effects, the fact that there are caps and stuff like that, how they interacted, all of that, it was just difficult to understand. It wasn't just the abilities of skills. You'd also have the other passive abilities, co-abilities, all of that kind of stuff. Like, oh, hey, yeah, like there's all these extra abilities, how they interact with other abilities. It was actually quite difficult to understand. Such that a lot of players ended up playing with very unoptimal setups because they just didn't understand how to build the team. It was just that hard. Which finally brings us to Curse of Nihility and Sinister Dominion. Curse of Nihility was a way for... came off the back, in short, because of power creep. Because all the abilities were different, they had to make... Some characters end up being a lot stronger than others. Specifically, this chick here, Karina, who I think is the cause for all of Curse of Nihility, she has an ability that simply says... it'll do more damage the more buffs the user has. And so, if you can imagine, everyone presses all their abilities, and then the worm prints trigger extra buff effects and all of that. This skill used to do a lot of damage, and it could actually one-shot bosses. That's how broken it eventually became. And the way that the devs decided to fix that power creep was to simply go, right, we're just gonna create this new curse called Nihility, which basically removes the efficacy of half the skills in the game. Not even half, but most of the skills in the game. The main problem with that is that it was never well understood how Curse of Nihility actually behaves. Like I was saying already, we already don't really get a good idea as to how abilities work. But let's see if we actually have the notes here. Curse Nihility? No, it's not here. Oh yeah, this debuff will dispel all buffs an adventurer has, which renders Karina useless, because Karina uses buffs, as you saw in the skill there, and prevents new buffs from being applied for a certain amount of time. Some buffs are exempt from this. I think the issue was simply the line that says, some buffs are exempt from this. Which ones? The game never really told us. Some worked, some didn't work. It wasn't very transparent, wasn't very clear. It just shook everything up. But worse than that, because it basically crippled like a fair majority of the roster. So most of the characters here cannot really be used well in Curse of Nihility content, like Sinister Dominion, because of this one buff, this one effect, which was meant to just mitigate power creep. But it ended up just basically crippling most of the roster, and it made the game very difficult to enjoy because you couldn't just use any character you wanted now. Only select characters could play in this Curse of Nihility content because all of their buffs get removed. So that was very frustrating. I'll leave it at that. Storage. I don't have a screenshot, but this game, as you can see, it's trying to delete content as I not use it for the compendium. But when I last checked yesterday, this game takes 13 gigabytes of storage space. For people with low-end phones, you might not have that much storage space. 13 gigs is really, really big for any mobile application, let alone a game. And even for games, 13 gigs is a lot. Absolutely crazy. So once this game ends, I can delete it. It'd be great to be able to do that. I'm out of time. Honourable mentions for things I didn't say that were good or bad. Art, I think art is great. You can kind of see that. Subjective though, but I really liked it. Story and events. Story was great. I'm going to play the story in a moment after this. I thought that they were great. This is the first game where I actually watched all the cutscenes in the stories and events and actually followed them through for the most part. But like most other gacha games, there's just too much writing to be able to follow. But yeah, it was okay. Infinite stamina. As the final kind of show for stamina. Here's my stamina bar. It's full. It's whatever. But I have over 3,000 stamina pots to use. Each one this one fills up 30 stamina. 30 times 30 times 3,800, that's what? That's like 30,100 and that's 120,000 stamina. And the cap that I can have is 999. So I could play this game infinitely. And it makes sense with the grind, I could finish it. But I just didn't have enough time. Impossible. Absolutely terrible. Oh, and the good thing about collab events as well is that they kind of put little gimmicky items that kind of are reflective of the collab. So, for example, the energy tank from Mega Man games, that was there. The Monster Hunter meat was also for a stamina refreshing, which was great. I don't know what this curry thing here is doing, and there's some Christmas stuff there. I don't know what this potion is for. I think this might have been for Fire Emblem. I don't know. Anyway, 5 minutes left. We are done with talking about pros and cons. I can't believe it took me 2 hours to do that, but I want to hide this. And I want to play the story. I want to play the story on hard. Sorry, on very, very hard. And I left it just for this final moment. I wish I could have played more content. Regrettable. Oh. And the epilogue and the epilogue and the credits you can watch on YouTube. Cygames uploaded that to their YouTube channel, which is great. I mean, Nintendo did, sorry. But I want to play the story on the hardest difficulty for the first time and for the last time before the game shuts down in 4 minutes. I don't think I'll beat it in 4 minutes though, but hopefully it'll let me carry on till afterwards. 3 minutes left. Here we go. This is the last time I'm going to actually be playing Dragalia Lost. It feels sad. Also, they also stopped optimizing the app after like 3 months ago, so that's why you see the frame rate kind of drop. Because I updated my phone to like Android T or whatever it is now, but I don't think they've been optimizing the app for newer versions of Android, so that's why it might look a bit glitchy. Ooh, I've also turned on all the effects. This is good. I might as well finish the last mission on maximum graphics quality. Oh crap. Oh my gosh, the lag is pretty bad, unfortunately. I don't know if it's because of my device heating or stuff like that, but oh well. Let's just hope my game doesn't crash, because if it crashes, I will not be able to come back into this game. Which will be very sad, but you can already see, given how big the numbers are, I can't even see Xenos. The boss is being covered by numbers. Oh, okay. Oh. But yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I really hope I don't die, because I can't, no restarts, no restarts. The game's not gonna let me restart. So I hope I beat this. Oh, I should play safer, but we'll see. Man, dude, you can't see the boss. My point about the screen clutter holds true. And the frame rate drops because of the screen clutter. Oh crap, black stuff. Okay. Okay, good. I'm more MIDI. You pop this skill. Maybe I should just zoom in a little bit, because it's just hard to see anything. Come on. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I got flash burn. That's not good. Oh. Okay. No, it's not over. There's like 3 phases to this fight. And I also wanted to test to see whether I could keep playing the game after it shuts down. It's like, I think it hopefully will. If it cuts me mid thingy, which it never has, I'm gonna find that very strange, but also very depressing. Roll through the red attacks because it doesn't matter. This fight should take me about 10 to 15 minutes, so it'll be very interesting if I can actually keep playing this. In fact, I do have some Wormite, so I probably could revive if I really needed to with Wormite, but I've never revived. I've never revived with Wormite. Okay, well, congrats, guys. The game is over. I wanted to actually do a countdown like the New Year's thing, but I didn't think that I would take so long doing this. But looks as if they're going to let me keep playing, which is great. That is cool. This is a very fitting way to end this. I'm glad for that. What better way to fight the end of service than fighting the final boss itself past when the servers are actually shut? I think because parts of the game do run locally, it should let me keep playing this. Oh crap, crap, crap. Oh, the purple. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Unit got exploded. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm not dead yet. I'm not dead. But I need to be very careful. Those purple attacks are really, really hurting me. $501. This is very interesting. So as I expected, because I can probably beat the fight and nothing happens until it syncs with the server. Is he gonna do the other purple attack? No. I'll get a disconnect once I get to the very end, I think. But I should still be able to beat the fight, get through all the cinematics and everything, so that'll be nice. The only thing I won't be able to do is collect my first clear reward for this. Actually, I think I will. Well, actually, no, it'll just end up in my box, and then I'll never be able to touch it, but that's okay. But I would say there's no better way to kind of say goodbye to the game than playing the one fight that we should all kind of end on, which is the final story mission. The final story mission on like 20 frames per second because of all the stupid effects that's flying across the screen. Oh well. But I'm glad it's this fight and not something else. I would hate to remind myself of some of the frustrating boss fights that I had to go through, because they were a bit of a pain. Yeah, you can see also the reason why we turned down the graphics settings is the screen clutter removes a lot of it, and also it does improve performance. And you do need frames if you're playing like boss fights. It's hard to be precise when you have a low frame rate. This is looking, oh gosh. Oh, I was in the right position. Good. Oh no, get out of the way. I'm going to zoom in a bit more. Gosh, I can feel that. I can feel the game stuttering really badly. Oh no, please no. Oh gosh. Yuden, don't die. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is not good. This is not good. This is not good. Okay, luckily there isn't a time on this, so we're okay, but no Yuden does make this a little bit more challenging. Okay, we're stuck with Nedrick now. Oh no. Oh no. It's not going to let me continue as well. Okay. Maybe I should have played this more safely. Oh no. Okay, we do get a bit of a revive, so there is a chance to keep doing this. Oh. What the heck? And again, this feels hard, not because of the way things are, but just because of the screen just because of the screen clutter. Okay, I think I should be fine because Nedrick shouldn't die as long as I play very carefully here. Oh gosh. No, Yuden, my boy, you fell over. Just taking a nap there on the right hand side. Can I please get a little bit more Dragon Gauge? I need to change to Bahamut so I can at least... Okay, here we go. Oh gosh. Yeah, phone is struggling hard. Damn, I did that very badly. Bone is struggling so hard. Okay. I should be okay now. As long as I don't get hit too many times, I should be fine. Ooh, actually, that attack probably could kill me in one hit. Not good. Okay, no, it's okay. That counts as one instance, which is good. So, Nedrick now has no HP bar, as you can see. He's only got 3 little counters. So basically, if he gets hit 3 times for reasonably big enough attacks, he will die. But luckily, those charges do refresh. So as long as I don't get hit 3 times in succession too quickly, I should be fine. The problem though is just... Oh no, frozen? Oh dear. Can I just hit from here without... Okay, good. This is intense. Oh, that doesn't count as damage. Wow, that's so good. Easy. Nedrick has this. Doesn't matter. See, Nedrick gets hit and doesn't count. Shh, come on. But I kind of wished I had more frames for this. Oh no, are you kidding me? I had the audio off the whole time. Ah, well. Such is streamer fails. But yeah, well, at least you get a bit of the music here. Music is great. Oh well, this turned into a pretty scuffed stream. But that's okay. Okay, we're not out of the woods yet. I wonder if Yuden comes back in the next phase. Okay, but at least... No! Oh. Far out, stupid loading screen. Oh, it has to check with the server to let me go to the next part and... No! Ah, well. I wonder what... At least give us a thank you for playing message, or give us a... By the way, Dragalia Lost number 2 is coming out next month. No, it's just going to give me a title screen, and then it's going to tell me... Service ended. There you go. Ah. Well, we all got kicked out of the game, guys. That's it. That is the end. Well, I can't really show anything more from my phone just because this is it, but this was a very memorable game. This was, yeah, I think the best mobile game I've ever played. There are many titles that I kind of started and then dropped over the years. I might play for a bit, but this game definitely has the longest play time that I've recorded across any mobile game I've ever picked up, like any of them. And it definitely goes to show that you can have good mobile games that are of decent quality, made by good publishers and developers. I think Nintendo and Cygames are good at making games. Cygames in particular with the mobile market, Nintendo a bit with the publishing. Good games can be had, and they don't have to be... And here's the thing that... the reason why I want to keep streaming this game for, and the message I want to keep trying to spout out in future videos if I make any more on other stuff, is that gacha games don't actually have to be predatory, right? A lot of people are not mathematically literate, and so the whole gambling thing, I get it. It's hard to kind of get your head around, okay, so what do these numbers mean? Can I make money off this? Okay, fine, I get it, but the thing is, some gacha games aren't that predatory. This one was very generous. There was no ever temptation that you needed to pull or roll. And of course, yeah, they want to make money off you, so they will advertise and make it look pretty and whatnot. But the thing is, you could play and enjoy this game very well without spending any real money. And I have demonstrated that with all of my gacha videos that are now on YouTube. You can go back and have a look to see my journey across, I mean, not since the beginning, but for the most part, like, most of my pulls, you can see that I get by just fine without spending any money at all. And there aren't many games that are like that, unfortunately. Most companies look for a quick cash grab. But side games, I think, are quite trustworthy in this respect. And they've come out with a very, very good title here. It's so sad to see that it's over for reasons that weren't really disclosed. But I'm hoping one day they will either revitalize this series with these characters, or particularly what I cared more about as I went through this video, this stream, was to show the mechanics and things they set up in this game. I honestly, in all fairness, what's more important to me is that they build another game like this. Doesn't have to be these characters, but with the same kinds of systems, the same pretty art, the same gacha mechanics, the same quality of life, the same, well, hopefully they also remove a lot of the negatives that I was talking about as well. If they could do that, you know, that'll be another great game. And hopefully, whatever went wrong this time, whether it's in terms of profits and whatnot, that they kind of do it better next time. But again, as I want to end on this note, and it's to say, I also wanted to look back, use this as a way to look back to see, are future mobile games going to follow in the footsteps of this? Or are they going to just be more greedy and stingy and predatory in the future? Who knows? This very well may be one of the last main gachas I ever play. I mean, I am playing a few other ones on the side, but none of them compared to this. I can say that with great confidence. No gacha game out right now compares to this. They're worlds apart, worlds apart. It's a pity that this game wasn't any more popular. But, I mean, there's always room for the market to grow and improve, and so hopefully this is not the last time we see a game of this quality, of this standard, of this level of magnificence. Hopefully there'll be companies out there that will make better games, better entertainment, and that it's actually going to be, you know, like, children-friendly, dare I say, despite the fact that it has gambling mechanics. That people can actually enjoy it and not... And enjoy it reasonably without, like, accidentally spending too much money and things like that. Well, anyway, I've rambled long enough. It's been 2 hours of me talking, and I really need to figure out how to talk longer and not strain my voice, because clearly it sounds pretty hoarse right now. So I need to figure that out for the long-term future. But that's it for Dragalia Lost. Thank you for playing. I mean, the last 24 hours of it wasn't as hyped as I wished it was. More could be said. Maybe I'll say it in a later stream, but, you know, the last 24 hours wasn't as exciting, but, I mean, I was busy with other stuff too. So it was kind of good that I didn't have to rush things and all that. Although, I did rush this presentation and I didn't really finish it. But, I got to show what I needed to show, so good enough. So thanks for tuning in and watching that. I am going to be back, I'm going to be back this Saturday. I could do sooner, but I think I need to script a few things up in terms of my ideas. I'm going to be back on Saturday. I'm going to start a brand new gacha pulling series, which means it's not going to be very frequent videos. But I'm going to be doing that for Path to Nowhere. I think that's been an okay gacha game so far. Unlike this one here, the grind for that is, well, the amount of time you can really play that game is very limited, so I can't stream hours and hours on end for the other mobile games. You can only do so much in a day. But I'm going to start doing gacha pulls in that one, and I also want to explore and see how consumer-friendly that one is as well. So this Saturday, Path to Nowhere, I'm going to start a new series of gacha pulling for that one. It's going to go on YouTube as well. Again, just as a way to kind of archive and show and test, is it possible to play gacha games without spending real money? Can you enjoy it? You know, have they set the probabilities? up in a way such that, you know what, I can enjoy the game without feeling like I need to spend money. And if I want to spend money, it's because there's some content that I want to support the developers, not because I didn't get what I wanted and I have to give in to my gambling instincts or whatever it is. So that's happening. But as for other games, I don't know. I might be taking a backseat for a while. There's some things on my backlog that I want to play, and I don't know if I'll stream it. Something I've been playing a little bit more is Xenoblade Chronicles 3, you know, the whole JRPG thing, but I think JRPGs are very, very difficult to stream. They're very slow, not very entertaining. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is full of cutscenes, which I enjoy watching privately, but I can totally see that anyone watching a stream of that is going to be like, I don't even know where this cutscene is. I didn't follow the game from the beginning. You get lost in it, and there's just not much happening when that's the case. So there's JRPGs. What else? I think that's kind of it for the meantime. So we'll see. But I mean, there'll be Path to Nowhere content. So I'll start with that, and then we'll see where that leads to. Aside from that, I am ultimately very grateful that I've been freed from this game as well. It's going to feel weird not logging in after 5 o'clock every day and going, alright, time to do dailies, time to kill bosses, time to grind for stuff, and just to go, oh, you know what, I've actually got a lot more free time now. And I can also free up a lot of space on my phone, which is great. 13 gigabytes of space. My gosh, this game was very heavy, but I mean, with all the effects, all the cutscenes that play, all the events and content, like, okay, the 13 gigs of space, well justified, but made it very, very unsustainable. And I think the devs recognize that. They kind of tried to optimize storage and all of that, but very, very hard for players, particularly with old phones, to keep up with just being able to physically support the game on their device. So that's that. Okay, well, there's nothing more really to be said than that's it for the game, but life goes on, so yeah, stay tuned for the next stream on Saturday. I'll put up on the schedule. Other than that, thank you for tuning in, and if you're watching this in retrospect, I hope if you're a Dragalia Lost player that you're just as sad as I was that this game is ending. If you're someone who's never played this game before, I hope this long, super long video showcasing the end of the game was informative to show you what a good gacha game could look like. And so I hope you take that away as going, yeah, you know what, there are good games in the market, although a lot of them currently don't really live up to the right standards and expectations, which is, that's just how businesses are, I guess. Yeah, so aside from that, I'm just going to leave it there. Thank you for tuning in, and I will hope to see you in the next video, whatever it may be. There'll still be Princess Connect stuff coming up. Yeah, actually, there's a New Year's banner coming up soon, so there'll be Princess Connect content coming up soon, Path to Nowhere stuff, maybe other stuff after that, we'll see. Anyway, thanks again. I'm going to head and have a cry in my corner that this game is now over. Probably going to have a cry on Discord, actually, so come join me there for the after party, maybe. But until then, I hope you're taking good care of yourself. I hope you're having a good day or evening, wherever you're watching from, and I hope to see you in the next stream. Thanks again, and goodbye.